Ever seen a champ treat a UFC calendar like a speed bag? 1 month, he slays the undefeated boogeyman everyone avoided. 5 months later, he strangles the sport's show pony, then jogs back to the gym before the sweat dries. That's Merab Dvalishvili's 2025 in a nutshell. And right now, the rest of bantamweight is just trying not to get mulched. So kick back, Chicago style. This is Reggie Cross with Behind the Lines, and we're rolling through the wildest half season a champion's put together since prime Demetrius Johnson. Before the ball dropped on 2025, the machine was already humming on a 10-fight tear. Folks said his cardio was legendary, but his finishing rate was light beer, good with pizza, not championship meals. Merab took that jab personally. He opened camp vowing to prove he could drown wrestlers and outgun strikers, all while tweeting motivational bangers at 3 a.m. because apparently sleep is optional when you're from Tbilisi. But the real statement? He told UFC brass he wanted 2 defenses before Independence Day. Most champs beg for 1. Matchmakers laughed, called his bluff, and slid an undefeated Dagestani across the table. UFC 311, Intuit Dome, Los Angeles. Opposite corner, Umar Nurmagomedov, 17-0, cousin to Khabib, labeled the uncrowned king. At 135, odds makers leaned Dagestan blue. Fans whispered that Merab's pace finally met its match. 25 minutes later, the scorecards read 49-46, 48-47, 48-47 for the Georgian whirlwind. Merab landed 133 total strikes to Umar's 81, chained 6 takedowns, and snapped George St. Pierre's career record for most takedowns in UFC history, 91 and counting. The scrap earned Fight of the Night and a $50,000 bonus, but more important, it flipped the boogeyman narrative on its head. Walking backstage, he shrugged, "That's one. Who's next?" No champagne, no parade, just a grin that said, the year was young. Most champions cash checks and ice their shins for half a year. Merab posted training footage 48 hours after UFC 311, and by April, leaked a photo of a crooked pinky toe. Broken in sparring. 2 weeks before fight night, "I still got 9 more, he joked, threatening to amputate if it slowed him down. Dana White greenlit UFC 316 in Newark for June 7, just 140 days after LA pitting Merab against a fully rehabbed Sean O'Malley. Critics called it reckless, Merab called it breakfast. Fight night nearly ended before it began. As Merab strutted the tunnel, fans leaned too hard over the Prudential Center rail and the barrier folded like cheap lawn furniture. A dozen bodies spilled into his path. Security bulled them aside a split second before the champ got flattened. Merab looked back, smirked, and kept walking. Later quipping he was almost KO'd by Row B before Sugar threw a punch. No injuries, but the clip hit 10 million views by sunrise. Momentum, untouched. Adrenaline, off the charts. Bell rings. By the 3-minute mark, O'Malley's braids are frizzed and the takedown timer's already at 3. Over 2.5 rounds, Merab outlanded Sugar, 141-38 in total strikes, dragged him to the mat 5 times, and rode backpack for 6.5 minutes of control. Then came the exclamation, a rare north-south choke at 4:42 of round 3. First one in a UFC title fight since 2010. The crowd was stunned. O'Malley tapped, then shook his head like he'd been hit by a subway. Merab pocketed another $50,000 and a 13-fight win streak. Daniel Cormier, cage side, yelled, "That might be the best bantamweight we've ever seen." Hard to argue when the numbers read like a lopsided box score in a schoolyard game. At the counter's halfway mark, 2 title defenses, the only UFC champ with multiples in 2025, 50-plus cage minutes, 0 rounds officially lost, strike differential north of plus 200, broke GSP's takedown mark, tied Kamaru Usman for longest active win streak at 13. Meanwhile, Tom Aspinall, Islam Makhachev, and Alexandra Pantoja each have one defense apiece. Everyone else is playing catch up. Merab's casual response, records are nice, fights are better. Let's keep fighting. So who's brave or crazy enough to jump into the wood chipper next? Cory Sandhagen is front of the line. Dana's already nodding, and Merab name-dropped MSG in November or Abu Dhabi in December. Nothing inked yet, but the chatter feels like more than smoke. Sandhagen swears his awkward footwork is the antidote to Georgian pressure. O'Malley's camp whispers a trilogy if Sugar collects a rebound win. Reddit's spinning conspiracy sagas about the barrier collapse being an omen, because, you know, fight fans gonna fight fan. All speculation, clearly framed as such, but that buzz is gasoline for engagement. And Merab, he keeps tweeting mileage totals from his morning hill sprints like a Nike app with a pulse. 2 title defenses in 140 days against an undefeated wrestler and a poster boy striker. 1 fight of the night barn burner, 1 highlight choke, a broken toe, a collapsing rail, a pay-per-view headliner that outdrew boxing on the same Saturday. Unless somebody stacks 3 wins with equal heat before New Year's Eve, Fighter of the Year looks sewn up tighter than that north-south grip. But the real story isn't just wins, it's pace. Champions fighting twice a year used to be normal, then it became rare. Merab's pushing to fight 3 times if the knees hold and the UFC lets him. That mindset might change how champs manage belts going forward. Pressure makes diamonds, sure, but it also sells pay-per-views. So here's the tweet-size headline. Merab walked through an unbeaten Nurmagomedov, short-circuited Sugar's hype train, sidestepped a falling barricade, and still checked back into the gym before the confetti hit the mat. If that doesn't scream Fighter of the Year, I don't know what does. But let's zoom out for a second. Think about what Merab's pace really means for the division and the sport. We're talking about a champion who treats title defenses like weekly spin class. No, I need 9 months to reset my chakras. No parade of cryptic tweets about contract negotiations. Just a steady hum of work that forces every contender to ask a brutal question. Can I keep up, or do I age out on the sidelines while the machine keeps lapping the track? Now, the chessboard looks wild. Sandhagen wants to dance at MSG. Dude's footwork is funky enough to give anyone motion sickness, but can he handle 25 minutes of hydraulic pressure? O'Malley is campaigning for a rerun, claiming he was too cautious the first go-round. Translation, he tasted Merab's grip and got religion. Dark horses like Ricky Simon and Song Yadong are lurking, praying for an injury dropout so they can parachute into history. And don't forget the lurking specter of Petr Yan on a revenge tour. Meanwhile, Merab's out here tweeting his morning road work mileage like his Strava on steroids, daring the rest of the pack to match him. If he squeezes in a 3rd defense before Christmas, the Fighter of the Year trophy might as well ship straight to Tbilisi with a bow on it. So I'll leave you with this. Who, if anyone, can throw a wrench big enough to stall the machine before December 31st? Slide your picks into the comments, hit that like button, and if you're feeling the vibe, hit that subscribe. I'm Reggie Cross, and this is Behind the Lines. Remember, hype fades, legacy don't. Peace. 745.